What if, under the moonlit Cuban jungle, tractors rolled gold ingots through hidden tunnels, escorted by uniformed revolutionaries whispering code names? Picture shimmering bullions stacked against dense foliage as Castro's agents trade treasure for Soviet rations in the dead of night. A single stolen telegram glints like a red beacon, revealing a shadowy gold pipeline that could topple superpowers and spark the Cold War's next secret battle. Brace yourself, viewer, now. Since 1959, Cuba found itself flush with revolutionary zeal, but nearly bankrupt, strapped for foreign reserves after the U.S. embargo. With Havana crying out for steel mills, sugar refineries, and sanitation projects, Fidel Castro looked east to the USSR, his new sugar daddy. Moscow agreed to sweetheart loan deals worthy of a hedge arbitrage twist, essentially borrowing at low interest in rubles, swapping for dollars in Cuba's offshore trust accounts, and then smuggling home gold to cover the gap. Who dreamed gold could moonlight like a bank account in lipstick? Key figures emerge. Che Guevara's financial czar, Ernesto Che, at the Ministry of Industry, pushing bribery and money laundering ops, basically sneaking export fees into cutout shell companies. Ricardo Alarcon, the diplomatic broker corralling Soviet credits, and Alexander Fadeyev, a KGB consultant directing covert telegrams, think James Bond with a ledger. Meanwhile, Cuban miners in Camagüey dug veins of alluvial gold under military escort, selling bars at black market rates to hungry East Bloc allies. An illicit arbitrage path that turned jungle streams into bullion rivers. Picture rusted pickaxes by midnight lamps, gold nuggets glinting like secret missiles. This is the setup: two superpowers, one island, and a clandestine gold highway that would redefine Cold War economics and ignite a fight for control over every shiny ingot. Hold on to your seat. Now we're peeling back every glittering breadcrumb of the red gold flow, chasing secret pipelines of bullion that coursed beneath Caribbean nights and Cold War paranoia. Each clue peels back another layer of this high-stakes game. The first clue: the mysterious Havana ledger. In a dusty vault at Banco de Crédito y Comercio, analysts stumbled on a dormant account swelling with gold-backed credits, enough to bankroll an island's GDP for months. A declassified telegram referred to Operation Tropical Glitter, hinting at a hedge arbitrage scheme, borrowing cheap ruble loans from Moscow, converting them into hard currency in an offshore trust, then settling the difference with gold bars. It's like a bank account wearing a tuxedo and whispering, "Surprise!" Who knew gold could moonlight as liquid cash? But just as investigators scratched their heads, the ledger vanished from public view, smudged and redacted. The second clue: midnight convoy in Camagüey. Under crescent moon cover, tractors rumbling through sugarcane fields carried burlap sacks that rattled suspiciously. Local miners, guided by military escorts, loaded raw nuggets onto flatbeds bound for clandestine docks. A CIA informant, codenamed Corona, jotted down bribes slipping into layers of shell corporations. Classic money laundering: placement, layering, integration. It felt like watching a drunken mule smuggle gold bars under its mane. Each sugar sack smelled of cassava and conspiracy, pointing to an offshore trust funnel in Nassau. Still, no one knew who pulled the puppet strings until the docks fell silent and every truck disappeared into the night. The third clue: the vanished vault in Santiago. Months later, reports arrived from Santiago de Cuba. A heavily guarded vault, rumored to hold half the regime's covert reserves, was found empty at dawn. Surveillance photos revealed uniformed figures cradling crates of bullion beneath flickering lanterns. CIA logs captured frantic radio chatter. All bars relocated, confirmed shipment at sea. Suddenly, bribery and money laundering felt too tame. This was heist cinema on real soil. But who orchestrated the extraction? KGB consultants or Cuban financiers emboldened by offshore loopholes? The fourth clue: submarine gold shipment. The trail then led underwater. A fishing trawler off Baracoa transmitted coordinates to a disguised Soviet submarine that surfaced under cover of storm clouds. A hidden hatch spat out wooden crates stamped with Cyrillic letters. Declassified cables describe gold exchanges for MiG-21 parts and foodstuffs, black market bartering taken to the next level. Picture a James Bond chase, a submarine gliding past coral reefs, bullion secured in missile tubes. Even Secret Service dogs couldn't sniff this out. The fifth clue, the final intercepted telegram. The smoking gun arrived in the form of a terse cable between Alexander Fedeyev and Ricardo Alarcón, referencing gilded carats, a bizarre code for gold ingots swapped for Soviet machinery. Gilded carats? Who writes this stuff? Dr. Seuss with a briefcase? The note detailed exact weights, bribe schedules, and offshore trust beneficiaries, revealing the full web of bribery, money laundering, and gold for arms swaps. Suddenly, every glittering bar pointed to a grand design, financing socialist construction while evading U.S. surveillance. With each redacted line and shadowy transfer, the red gold flow tightened its grip on global power, edging closer to sparking an explosive revelation. What happened next will shatter the Cold War's hush, and you're about to witness it. When the last redaction fell away, the true magnitude of the red gold flow exploded into view. A joint CIA May 6 forensic audit of financial ledgers, a deep dive into fiduciary malfeasance. That's fancy talk for fraud uncovered by boring number crunching. Unearthed a pattern of shell corporations funneling millions in gold-backed credits through Geneva trusts. Suddenly, what looked like innocent export fees was revealed as the final layer of money laundering. Layering obscure wire transfers, integration via Swiss vaults, and offloading bullion through front companies registered in Liechtenstein. Think of it as a Swiss cheese of deception, full of holes but every hole dripping with gold. Next came the whistleblower bombshell. A former KGB courier, codenamed Sable, surfaced in Stockholm, offering grainy transcripts of late-night Moscow telephone calls. His testimony described Alexander Fedeyev personally authorizing gold shipments to Cuban ports, then signing off on falsified shipping manifests that listed agricultural equipment instead of bullion. Fedeyev's signature, etched in Cyrillic, was found scrawled over manifests so brazen they read like an amateur pirate's treasure map. Only this treasure could buy jet fighters and grain for an entire island nation. Who would have thought the KGB bureaucrat was moonlighting as a pirate captain? But the real epiphany arrived when declassified CIA intercepts revealed Operation Gilded Carrot's final phase, a clandestine airlift of gold ingots in diplomatic cargo planes, marked with Cuban diplomatic seals. Satellite imagery showed unmarked Antonov transports landing at clandestine airstrips in Pinar del Rio, gold bars unloaded under floodlights, and then whisked away by tractor convoys that blended into sugar shipments. Contrast that with the Castro's official press, triumphant slogans about socialist solidarity. It was like broadcasting a vegan cooking show while sneaking bacon-wrapped shrimp behind the scenes. Finally, a trove of photographic evidence, dusty Polaroids taken by a disillusioned Che Guevara aide, landed on a CIA desk in Langley. The images showed Che himself inspecting crates of gleaming bars, joking, "And they say socialism can't glitter." His wide grin frozen in time made every mention of socialist construction seem deliciously hypocritical. These photos, coupled with the forensic audit and whistleblower tapes, shattered the last doubt. The Castro regime's entire infrastructure drive had been bankrolled on a secret bullion highway that snaked from Camagüey mines to Kremlin vaults to black market docks. The climax is clear. The Cuban Revolution was not just powered by ideology, but pumped full of smuggled gold, orchestrated by financiers and spies in equal measure. What started as revolutionary fervor ended as a glittering domino rally of deception. And now the world knows how the red gold flow really tipped the scales of the Cold War. And there you have it, an island's blueprint for socialist construction sketched in bars of bullion rather than blueprints in bricks. The red gold flow wasn't just a Cold War curiosity, it's a masterclass in financial sleight of hand. Today's investors and everyday savers can learn two key lessons. First, never underestimate the power of arbitrage opportunities, buying low here and selling high there, because even governments will chase hidden margins when their backs hit the wall. Second, transparency matters. Complex offshore trusts and layering techniques might mask risks, but they can also mask disaster if the underlying assets vanish or regulations tighten. Ask yourself, Is your portfolio built on solid fundamentals, or could it be propped up by forgotten footnotes and redacted disclosures? And when you hear promises of guaranteed returns, are you seeing the full ledger or only the shiny summarized balance? In our era of digital currencies and decentralized finance, the ghosts of Operation Gilded Carrot still whisper warnings. Beware of blind trust in exotic instruments. Hedge arbitrage can transform fortunes, but it can also spiral into money laundering nightmares if guardrails fail. Would you want your retirement nest egg smuggled through shell companies? Probably not. So next time you celebrate a bull run, remember those midnight convoys of gold through Cuban sugarcane, and consider whether your gains are as transparent as they appear. Financial history isn't just dusty textbooks. It's a living guide for modern strategy. If you've enjoyed peeling back this glittering conspiracy, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another buried secret. Smash the like if you appreciate a good finance thriller, and drop a comment below. What other Cold War twists should we uncover? Your stories shape our next deep dive. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes the shiniest treasures hide the sharpest risks.